Hey, it's Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. I'm out here. It's just sun's just coming up, and one of the things that I do sometimes when I think I want to is I come out and I check on my compost piles. And I was out here a couple days ago, and this pile right here, this is in our food grow area. This is our truck garden, and I'm doing work that's going to benefit me next spring. I built these compost piles, and these piles just did not take off. I didn't have enough hot manure in them. I had some, but not enough, and they just didn't take off. I had them in long rows, and they just weren't working. They were cold. So what I did is I pushed them up into piles. I got two of them here. There's one there. And hoped that the weight would do it, but it didn't. So then what I did, I guess I told you the other day, is I inoculated them with a bacteria soup from our holding tank at the butcher shop. And boy, look at the steam now. This is some of it right here. And it's mostly chips. And, you know, it's whoa, it's too hot. It's too hot to put my hands in. So that's good. That means what I have to do is I have to continually turn it, because what's happening is as this bacteria is increasing in numbers and it's, eating up all this carbon, it's creating a lot of heat, and that heat forces any oxygen out of the pile. So the bacteria can have a tough time if they don't have oxygen. So what I have to do is I'm going to have to turn this when I feel like it, but it should be like every couple of days. What you don't want is you don't want it to get so hot that it just kind of scorches the pile. I've actually pulled piles apart and it's like there's ash in there, and that's not good. You want it to be an aerobic action that's going on. So there is air, there is oxygen to it. Aerobic. All right, now this pile did not take off, but I inoculated it a couple days ago. And so then what I did is I just took a couple scoops from there and put it over here. Now, in theory, I should be able to continue to feed these piles with chips, and they should keep going. So I guess I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a temporary fence in here to keep the pigs over on that side. And then I'll dedicate this for some time now, maybe a few months or as long as I can, as a composting area. And then I'll bring a whole bunch of chips over here and I'll just keep them standing by. And as this pile behind me goes down, which it will, because it'll consume, I'll keep feeding it. And we'll see how that goes. But it's kind of interesting to me now that as I've learned that the key to a healthy farming operation is bacteria, you feel completely different when you empty the honey bucket out of the outhouse. It's not something that's just refuse that, hey, I want to get rid of this. You're thinking there's billions and billions of bacteria in here that possibly are different than the ones that are in my pile now. So you say, hey, I'm not going to waste this. I'm going to, make a slurry out of this and use this on the pile. I haven't done that yet, but I probably will, because the more diverse bacteria load that I can have out here, the better off I'm going to be. As I was turning this morning, I got to thinking back in my memory banks. 11 years we've been at this. And when we first started, my friends, the vets, were out here quite a bit. I had sick chickens, I had sick pigs, I had sick cows. And I'm thinking back at the last time we had a sick animal. This summer, I haven't had any sick chickens at all. We used to have coccidiosis so bad. But I think the key is a diverse soil, and because it's the building blocks of the animals that live here and us too. So this is probably it. And one of the things that I use is biochar. I put it in the pile, and it's not a super fuel in itself, but it is a protecting agent for the bacteria. It provides these little honeycombs for the bacteria and the protozoa to live in. So I'm wondering if I can't keep these piles going all winter long. We'll see, because in the past I haven't been able to keep them going, but then again, maybe I haven't tried hard enough. But this time I'm going to dedicate this area to the compost, and I might start a couple more piles actually, because as I was doing this morning, I thought, you know, this area could be a super food producing system. Now, let's not forget that the centerpiece of our operation here is the pigs, is the Mangalitsa pig. And although this is a good thing to do to raise produce, it's not what we do. It doesn't really pay the bills here. It does provide us with food, and it provides the animals with food. So that's good, because if we don't have to spend it at the grocery store, you know, that's good. But these are my next year sows out here. They're about 75 to 100 pounds now, and that's 30 of them. And that's going to be my next year's sows. So I just thought you'd find that interesting. Mark from Baker's Green Acres. Anyone can farm.